we have a tremendous and very important story to tell you about that comes along with a surprise guest. Yep, and I'll get to that in just a few seconds. But the irony of this story that just broke is one of the first people to comment on it was, remember Marco Rubio, the guy, Senator, Florida, that guy who at one time despised Trump because Trump gave him another nickname called Little Marco? He's the first guy to come out and tout that Trumpism of fake news. Well, of course he did. Why wouldn't he? But of course, what cracks me up before we tell you about this breaking story is the exchange these guys had back when Rubio still claimed Trump was a bad guy. Remember this?
He's always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2". Have you seen his hands? They're like this. And you know what they say about men with small hands? You can't trust them.
So when little Marco spews his crap about the size of my hands, which are big.
Yeah, there you have it. The man who hated Trump fell right in line just like everybody else. And they're having an argument about size. I mean, if you actually heard this instead of saw it, you'd think this was between two 14-year-old boys. It's utterly ridiculous. And yet, lest we forget that the ultimate 12-year-old boy is Donald Trump, because he's the guy who started this fake news train to begin with. Remember?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question. You are fake news.
There's a lot of attention around Sinclair Broadcasting and its conservative bent. This is a company that owns stations all across the country. And last month I reported that the company was mandating its local stations to produce these media-bashing promos. There's been a lot of angst in local newsrooms about this. Now we're actually seeing the promos. So I want to show you what they look like. This is a compilation courtesy of Deadspin that's gone viral this weekend. Just a little taste of what these promos look like.
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Yeah, all of that. And so our breaking story with the special guest just goes to show Little Marco Rubio and all the GOP always default to the same tactics, especially in the last 30 days here before the election, because it will always be what's wrong, what's negative, and what's not good. And yet, no matter what Marco Rubio says, this breaking story was so terrific when Joe Biden walked out in surprise and delivered this jobs report.
But today, we got more incredible news. Although the strength of the American economy it's about the strength of the American economy. New jobs report, as you all know, you've been reporting, created 250,000 jobs in September. The expectation was for 150,000 jobs in September, which has far exceeded that number. Not only the previous 2 months was the previous 2 months was revised up 75,000 jobs. And from the very beginning, we were told time and again that the policies we were pursuing, we'd put forward weren't going to work, make things worse, including some of the other team are still saying they're going to make things worse. But we've proven them wrong. You pick up people.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Josh.
Thanks again for doing this, Mr. President. 2 questions. The first, Florida Senator Marco Rubio described today's jobs report as having fake numbers. What do you make of that, and how worried are you that many Americans are hearing that the jobs numbers aren't real?
Look, I'm going to be very careful here. If you notice, anything the MAGA Republicans don't like, they call fake. Anything. The job numbers are what the job numbers are. They're real. They're sincere. They're what we are. And by the way, just look at how the EU talks about us, how they like to have an economy like ours. Let's talk about the rest of the world looks at us and what we're doing. So we were told our American Rescue Plan was too big and it would crowd out private investment. We proved them wrong, vaccinated a nation, and got immediate economic relief to people in need. When I came to office, determined to end trickle-down economics and grow the economy from the middle out and the bottom up. I know you're tired of hearing me say that over and over again, but that was the policy. That remains the policy. Because when you do that, everyone does well. When the middle class grows, the nation's stronger. And the nation's stronger when there's a strong union movement as well. We were told it wouldn't work, but I was also determined to do what was ignored for much too long. Presidents have been authorized since the 30s to be able to spend the money given by Congress to spend the money on hiring American workers and using American product where they were available. And that's what we did.
Yeah, Joe is correct. Anything that actually is positive and good about America right now and for the last couple of years since the midterm elections is just all going to be referred to as crap by the GOP, Trump, and everybody in that camp. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how you are, but while things are difficult and things are tough, I just don't want to have to listen to every single thing being negative and bad when most of the time that's actually the fake news of the day. Vote Harris Walls. And as I like to say, do what Obama said. Don't boo. Vote.